Hello YouTube, this video is an update on my tibia and fibula fracture, and this is about 6 months post-surgery. Now if you haven't already, be sure to check out my first video where I detail my skiing accident, the surgeries that I underwent, and how I was feeling just a few weeks in. Today I'll detail my recovery process, the struggles that I've had along the way, and how I'm easing back into normal training and normal life. As a quick recap, I shattered the tib fib just a couple inches above my ankle in a ski accident back in February of 2021. So the break itself didn't really hurt that much, and really neither did the external fixator surgery, which I kept on for about a week. But after that, I got a lot of hardware installed. 2 plates on the tib and about 12 screws going up the fibula. That surgery really did me in. And that leads me to my first point, which is the drugs. For those first 2 weeks, I had to take oxycodone every 5 or 6 hours, which works great for about the first 3 hours before the pain and restlessness slowly starts to creep back in. And then it just became a waiting game of counting down the minutes before you could take the next dose. So that cycle was not fun, especially at night when I basically had to time 1 dose to help me fall asleep, and then hopefully just 1 more dose in the middle of the night to hold me over till morning. So I'd say the toughest part about those first 6 weeks was managing sleep. Not only the pain around the injury, but also having to keep the foot elevated all night. So I would basically stack like 2 columns of 3 pillows to support the foot, obviously the calf and the knee. And you obviously can't sleep on your side or turn over in the middle of the night, so basically just kind of forced to sleep on your back. And yeah, that was pretty tough for me. Over the weeks, I slowly reduced the dosage to just 1 pill before bed until about that, I would say probably 6-week mark, where I got the clear from my doctor to sleep with the leg flat, which really helped. So it was around there that I cut the pills out totally. But it's kind of crazy that I was never given a specific set of instructions or really any advice or guidance for weaning off the pills. Again, the drugs helped a lot, but I tried to cut them out as soon as possible, starting with the afternoon dose. And the discomfort isn't unbearable after like that, first week, as long as you're moving around a little bit and keeping yourself mentally engaged. That's really the key. So obviously losing your ability to walk is a mind-blowing experience, but if you find yourself with a similar type of injury, you absolutely have to get a knee scooter. Even for someone like me who just lives in a 1-bedroom apartment, the knee scooter was an absolute lifesaver. But for me, what was kind of almost worse than not being able to walk was not being able to drive. So obviously I broke my right leg, and I was not even gonna mess around with trying to drive on my left foot. Now, I am a personal trainer here in Nashville, and I do pretty much all in-home personal training sessions. So I am on the road a lot. And that was probably one of the worst parts, was racking up 1 epic Uber bill going back and forth from clients' houses for probably 5 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, I would say. So I took about 3 or 4 weeks right after the surgery to go home to Virginia, which is where I filmed that first video. But yeah, even by the time I came back, I was still quite a little bit away from being able to drive safely. So I would say, like, apart from the sleep and the pills and that whole thing. The mobility wise, I would say the worst thing was not being able to enjoy the freedom of the open road. I did fly a couple times during recovery and got the full wheelchair treatment through the airport. And I gotta say, from the check-in agents to TSA to the folks at the gate, everybody always made the experience super easy. So I'm very, very grateful for that. Obviously I had to swallow my pride a little bit because I don't really like accepting help from people. But I'm really, really grateful that that was the case, that everybody just made the process of traveling, which is already hard enough, super easy for someone with limited mobility. All right, so let's talk physical therapy. I started PT about 3.5 months after surgery, and it was nothing groundbreaking. I mean, obviously, I've been a trainer for a while, so I've kind of seen it all, but I will say it really helped me to break the ice with getting comfortable beginning the weight-bearing process on the right foot. So even though my ankle wasn't broken, it was severely compromised by all the inflammation and just general disuse. So we really focused in on foot strength, ankle mobility and stability, calf strength, single leg balance, step ups, and like I mentioned, really just kind of re-patterning the whole gait pattern. When I first started, my foot was very sensitive and I was only taking a few shuffled steps at a time. But after 2 sessions a week for 6 weeks, I was walking almost without a limp and rarely had to use my crutches. These days, I combine my PT homework with some of my own ideas into a daily routine that consists of ankle circles, drawing the alphabet, tibia curls, tiptoe walks, lateral walks, massage techniques, and lots of other stuff. And I can tell you, it really does make a difference. And if I go just a day or two without doing my homework, I can feel it. I was even thinking about doing an entire video just on my recovery and strengthening exercises. So if you would be interested in seeing that, do drop a comment and let me know. I still experience a little pain, and having flat feet probably doesn't help, but I just have to be mindful of how I step and load the ankle. But I will say, just a few days ago, I racked up over 15,000 steps, which is certainly a personal record for the year, and the foot held up pretty well. Obviously was kind of tired and a little stiff the next day, but not bad. So I am super grateful for that. All right, want to check out the scars? Here on the tibia side, the incision starts at the top of the foot and goes up about 6 inches where I got the plates. You can see the 2 spots here on the front of the shin is where the external fixator went in, and on the fibula side, we have this straight line that they closed with staples. So I have these spots along either side to go along with it. My scars healed up pretty well and pretty fast, according to my doctor. And I really just attribute that to being a generally healthy person. My diet is pretty basic and simple. I do eat a lot of red meat and vegetables. That's pretty much it. Supplement wise, I take a multivitamin, usually extra vitamin D, fish oil, whey protein, and collagen. So who's to say if any of that stuff made any difference? But especially when you're dealing with an injury, you do want to make sure that you check every box that you can. So I would encourage you, if you are dealing with a similar injury, that you ask your doctor and experiment for yourself. So people always ask if I can feel the hardware, and the answer is yes, but it's not really noticeable on the day-to-day. Now, obviously there's not much muscle there around the ankle. So you can feel out the edges of the plates and a couple screws, but at least so far, it hasn't bothered me at all. The next question people ask is, will I ever get the hardware taken out? And the answer is probably not. The surgeon did say that if I really wanted to, they could take it out. But apart from like a blood infection of some kind, there would really be no other reason to. He did mention that a lot of people mentally struggle with the idea of having hardware in their bodies, but that isn't the case for me. Seems to be something I can easily live with, so the hardware is probably permanent. I went in for my final checkup and x-rays a few weeks ago, and the doctor said that my bones are as strong as they were before the break and will continue to grow stronger. Right now, the only thing I still can't handle is any impact. So no box jumps and no running for a while yet. But I am back into pretty normal and complete training. I'm squatting around 135, deadlifting around 185, which again is nothing to write home about, but just recentering my left and right sides with a little bit of weight is proving to be, quite the practice that I have to focus in on. I'm slowly getting back into jiu-jitsu, obviously letting my rolling partners know that for all practical purposes, the right leg is off limits. And yeah, like I mentioned, I'm back to being able to walk around the neighborhood again, which all feels amazing. I want to wrap up here by expressing my thanks and gratitude to everyone who has helped me out these last 6 months. First of all, my ski buddies, Pat, Matt, and Peter, the staff at the Park City Resort Mountain Clinic, Dr. Hatch, and all of the amazing nurses at Park City Hospital, Dr. Yu, and the physical therapy staff at Tennessee Orthopedic Alliance. Have all been amazing. Obviously, my dear mom for basically keeping me alive after surgery. Thank you to my clients for all of the support and patience. Of course, all of my friends and colleagues in the fitness industry, my podcast co-host, Andy, and thank you, whoever you may be, for watching my videos, for leaving your words of support in the comments section. I gotta say, I truly appreciate it. So that about does it for today. If you are recovering from a broken leg, I hope this and my other videos have been helpful for you. So these can be scary times. And oftentimes, what's worse than the pain are the feelings of not knowing what's coming next, or the sense of loneliness that comes from dealing with an injury all by yourself. So I hope this video could alleviate some of that for you, and I would love to hear your thoughts and your stories in the comments section. So feel free to share there. With that, thank you so much for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one. All the best.